Hello, greetings from my headquarters at home, doing another video status update, and I won't do these for all the movies I'll be watching for Halloween, but I thought tonight's selection was a little bit special, so that's why I'm doing it tonight. And I'm working with my phone, so that's kind of why it's like looking godlike up at me. I have it kind of angled here on a box, so I keep my hands free. I talk with my hands a lot. But anyway, tonight's movie for Halloween Horror Movie A Day, Night 4, which I kind of skipped last night because I got in the mail the Indiana Jones Blu-ray box set, and had to pop in Raiders of the Lost Ark to start it off just to see what it looked like, what it sounded like, and it's fantastic. So, but back to the horror movies, because that's what I do. It's October. Halloween is coming. So tonight's pick, it's kind of keeping a little bit with the Child in Peril theme that I had started with. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark and Something Wicked This Way Comes, which are the first two official nights. And, but this night is Guillermo del Toro's very first major release, his very first film, which is Cronos, right here. And it's got a Criterion release. There's a little C up there. It's on DVD and Blu-ray, so I believe Criterion has a deal with Hulu, and this movie may be streaming on Hulu if you want to look it up. I highly advise it. Again, this is Guillermo del Toro's first major movie. He is probably best well known in America for his two Hellboy movies, and he also made the second Blade movie, which is the best of the trilogy. And he also made a movie called Mimic, which didn't go so well for him. It was his first experience with a major Hollywood studio. But if you like Mimic, and it is a pretty good movie, you can pick up the DVD, and there's Guillermo del Toro commentary on it. And rather surprisingly, the studio really lets him go into detail on their release about the troubles he had dealing with the studio, dealing with the producers, and the rewrites to his movie. So Mimic is an interesting movie, more interesting commentary. Behind the scenes stuff is kind of more interesting than the movie in some ways. But again, tonight is Cronos, which is a kind of vampire movie. It's very much a twist on the vampire mythology. So if you are looking for something that's not as highly sexualized as, say, True Blood, or as dumbed down as, say, Twilight, I think Cronos is the movie for you. If you're looking for something different for your vampire story, if you're looking for something kind of out of left field, and that's really a well-made story, it's a beautiful film. One of the things Guillermo del Toro does so great is he takes things that are grotesque and makes them beautiful. I think he's kind of like a modern-day Brothers Grimm in a way. None of his movies are truly horror movies, so I mean, even with Cronos, it's probably bending it a little bit to call it a horror movie. I think most of his movies are almost like dark fairy movies. Even Don't Be Afraid of the Dark is more of a dark fairy movie or dark fairy tale than it is so much a horror movie. But you should definitely search out his other films. If you are only familiar with the Hellboy series, or Blade, or Mimic, do look up his Spanish language films, The Devil's Backbone, and of course the Academy Award-winning Pan's Labyrinth. These are really, I think, these are movies that kind of elevate the format of movies to another level, and something that movie fans should embrace. And I think these are the kind of movies that Hollywood should be trying to release. They should be encouraging these type of releases. Movies like Cronos, or movies like Pan's Labyrinth and The Devil's Backbone, where it's beautifully shot. It's an immersive tale, something you can get into. And I know they're subtitled. My son was kind of introduced to a subtitled movie last week when we watched The Orphanage. He was a little iffy about going in, like, read a movie, but he quickly fell into the story and ended up loving The Orphanage despite its subtitles. And I know there's a lot of people who hear subtitles and they run in the opposite direction. you're, and I would just want to say is like you're closing yourself off to some really wonderful film experiences by doing that. So don't be scared off by subtitles. You quickly get used to it, uh, the reading and watching the film, and sometimes the translation of the subtitles is actually a lot better than the dubbing if you have the choice to do English dubbing in movies. With Cronos, there is no choice. You have to watch it subtitled in its original Spanish language. But say a movie like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which I saw in the theater subtitled, but when you get the DVD or Blu-ray, you have the choice of having it English dubbed or subtitled, which is fine. But I think you find if you watch it with the subtitles and kind of keep track of how the translation's going, and then you watch it again with the English dub, you find that the English language kind of loses a bit of its poetry, where the subtitle translation it reads off of more poetic. There's different words used, and I don't know if that's just they used a different translator when they had the actors come in and do the dubbing, or if there was just some kind of like the actors were kind of going off on their own and replacing their words. So definitely check out Cronos. It's my movie for day 4 of Horror Movie A Day in October 2012, directed by Guillermo del Toro. And if you pick up the Criterion Collection DVD and Blu-ray, you get some wonderful special features, including a tour of Guillermo del Toro's Bleak House, which is kind of his working area, his man cave as he calls it. And it's just, I can listen to Guillermo del Toro talk movies, and he goes on for about 10 or 15 minutes on his tour talking about making movies, writing movies, and such. There's also interviews with the star Ron Perlman and Guillermo del Toro, as well as his director of photography, who's an Academy Award winner, Guillermo Navarro. And I believe there's also a short film from Guillermo del Toro, his student film that he made prior to making Cronos, which is it's an interesting little like 15, I think it's like 15-20 minute film. So definitely worth picking up. Again, it's the Criterion Collection. You can pick it up on the Criterion website or Amazon. I'm sure you can find it at a good price, probably one of the used third-party sellers. But very much worth picking up. I love this movie. Probably if I listed my top 15 movies of all time, Cronos is going to be one of those. So sit back and enjoy watching movies.